we were going to finance our operations, but at the same time keep the nation moving. So as a government, we created a COVID-19 fund, a kitty that would fund emergency response towards containing the spread, its effects and impacts. But we also said in sharing the burden occasioned by this pandemic, we said we had to lead from the front, and myself as president and the deputy president took an immediate salary cut of 80% of our salaries. Cabinet secretaries, I don't know whether they were happy or not, but I ordered that they take 30% cuts. And principal secretaries and other top officials, we gave them the chance to volunteer to take 20% pay cuts in order to show that commitment and leadership starts at the top. We also called on well-wishers, and in this regard, I really want to thank our Kenyan private sector, because despite the challenges that they themselves were facing, they came out strongly in support to ensure that at least the most vulnerable were able to put food on their tables. This especially because a huge part of our Kenyan workforce was casual. And many of our urban citizens rely on a daily income to sustain themselves. And we recognize this, because those casuals, with many of them now at home as a result of the lockdown, and who depended on that daily income to feed themselves, now had basically no source of income. And the big question became, how could we effectively look after this part of our population? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how my government came up with the Kazi mtaani program. And the Kazi mtaani program was intended to put money in people's pockets in order for them to be able to sustain themselves during that difficult time. In rural areas, people had their small plots and their ngombes and their mbuzis. But in urban areas, this was very difficult. So therefore, unlike what some people tried to indicate that this was a political agenda, it was socially, totally aimed at ensuring that these Kenyans who, through no fault of their own, were unable to go to their places of work, at least would have an opportunity to earn a living